You know, Mike,
Yeah.
they just don't make cars like this anymore. I mean, it's sexy, it's got style, it's got curves. I mean, and you can't go wrong with this color. This color is absolutely amazing. I know this isn't the first time we ever did this car, but absolutely love this. It looks so good in video.
Yeah. You know what I like about cars like this? No plastic trim.
Yeah, you'd be hard to find any plastic on this.
So with new cars, one of the things as detailers we always do is take tape and tape it off so we don't cream it over and stain it. And with this, you actually run the polisher over it, and you remove the oxidation, make it just as shiny as the paint.
But I will say this, the only thing that you do have to watch out for the old ones is the old gaskets that have like the little felt texture and stuff, then that you'll cream out. But.
Yeah, a lot of 60s and 70s cars have that felt gasket around the windows.
So, exactly. All right, well, enough of us gawking about this car. I mean, it is a beautiful car.
It's a nice one.
But I just wanted to say thank you again for tuning in to another live class, whatever you were calling this?
Live detailing class.
Live detailing class. And like always, like, share, and subscribe. And if you haven't, just click the notification bell and, like, follow, and all the other good stuff. So, Mike, it looks good. What are we doing, or you're doing to it? Because I'm not doing anything. I'm going to be over there. So.
Well, let me give you the backstory. So there's actually a short video up on the Dr. Beasley's Instagram page where you can see the water spot, or what I like to call crater etchings in the paint. So as you see up here where it says Power Tour, this isn't a garage queen, this is a driver.
He drives it.
He puts the miles on it, and he does the Power Tour, I think, every year. Well, it was up in Atlanta, Georgia, in a hotel, just a stopover during the Power Tour, went through a hard rain, and whatever was in that rain was so corrosive, it etched the previous coating I'd put on there. It was another brand, not the Dr. Beasley's brand. So I told the owner, my good friend Dave, says, you bring it back, I'll completely polish the car out, remove anything left of the old coating, and we're going to put the Dr. Beasley's Nano-Resin Pro on.
So it makes you wonder what's on around Atlanta.
Well, I think it's a largely industrial area, so there could be a lot of industrial pollution, which could lead to acid rain.
Yeah. Gonna melt my skin. All right, well, then that being said, we're not gonna start here. You're gonna start over there, are you not?
I'll start over there at the very end.
All right.
I'll walk through everything I did. One of the things, Yancy, I like to do is, a lot of people think to put a coating on, you buy this little bottle, but it doesn't start there. It starts with
a lot more stuff.
Washing, claying, you got to do the whole process. And even though this thing, except for the water spots, was in good shape because I compounded and coated about a year ago, I still had to repeat all the steps. It still needed to be clayed and everything. But here's where we're at so far with this car. I've actually washed it. I did a prep wash with Dr. Beasley's prep wash, clayed it, and then I've machine polished all of the paint except for this side of the hood. And so that's what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to polish that. And I thought I would share a couple tips on how to work on these old 1930s and 1940s coupes. They have very curved hoods, very curved fenders. And if you're not sure how to tackle one, and say someone brings you a car like this, or you buy a car like this and you're wondering, how do you go about machine polishing it? Let me just share a couple tips first before we get to the coating. So one of the things I like to do is, a lot of people already know this, is I like to use gear-driven tools, okay? This is an 8mm gear-driven tool, and the reason why is because with all these curves, if you're using any kind of free spinning tool, so a Porter cable or a 15mm, 25mm, 25mm, 12mm, but
500mm.
But it's a free spinning tool. I don't got one next to me. So when you take and you spin the pad, it just spins freely. It's going to stall out all over the place. It's going to take a long time. So, that's why I like the gear-driven. This is actually called the Super Beast. And what I've done to get into these curved panels is I showed this trick last 2 weeks ago. It was when we did the video on buffing out intricate areas. Remember that? And I showed how to take a piece of coarse sandpaper and trim down and shape your own foam pads. So I've already done that. I've taken and trimmed this Dr. Beasley 6.5-inch foam polishing pad down. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to be pushing this into some curves, and I want to get some of the backing of the foam pad away, so I have just nothing but pure soft foam spinning against the paint. Okay, so the first thing I would do is and Yancy, to your point earlier about they don't make cars like this, check this out. Here's the beautiful front grille. Here's how you open the hood. It's just right there. It's part of the trim itself, and then this just pops up like that. And then what I do is I always take the ego nozzle the nozzle off my Ego leaf blower and just find a safe place to set this to stabilize it. Okay, like that.
That way it doesn't eat you?
Well, that way I can push down on the hood and it won't slam on me. And so then the area that I want to show is this area right here, which is complicated to get to if you don't open the hood because you've got this curved fender here, but also to get in here and get this fender close to where the engine compartment is. So if you ever get asked to work on one of these, this is how I do it. And I also do this on the trunk lid. I prop open the trunk lid and just bring the back of the trunk lid up higher to me to make it easier to buff out. Now, I did a test spot on this, and for the water spot etchings, I had to use the NSP 95 to actually remove those, eliminate those. But after that, the rest of the car I was able to polish out with the NSP 45, which is a fine cut polish, foam polishing pad, and of course I'm using the Super Beast. And I always like to kind of point this out. These come in 8-ounce tubes, but you can also get them in a 32-ounce bag. And of course, Dr. Beasley's sells the pour-off bottles for them. And I use these for my classes because we go through a lot of product, and it just makes it so much easier. Now, one of the things I've had to retrain myself is how much product to use. Can you do a close-up on that?
I'll zoom in, just give me 2 seconds.
This is 3 pea-sized drops. And one of the things about the NSP nanogel products is they're highly concentrated, and the spheres, the abrasive technology is spherical, and they're embodied in a nanogel carrying agent. And that means there's no separation in the abrasives. They don't sink to the bottom. You don't got to shake the bottle to remix them. So it's a very uniform mixture of abrasive technology. And you use very little of this. It's not like a conventional compound or polish where you put a lot of product down. You just need a little bit. And let me go in here. And I didn't know if you wanted to come in and capture any of this. I'll break in my pad up here first.
Come up to the front a little bit more.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So right there is where a normal orbital polisher would stop, right? When you're
a free spinning polisher would completely stop. I've got a plane here, I've got a plane here, and if you were to run this pad down here on a free spinning polisher, it would spin until this side hits this curved portion here, and the pad would just stall out. You wouldn't be able to remove the swirls here and there. So
can you come around to the other side?
I certainly can. I've already polished it out, but I can show it over there.
It'll be extra good polished then. No, it's that way then I can get those angles good.
Let me get my cord. Okay. 3 pea-size drops. So when you talk about using these products, it's not cost per ounce, it's cost per serving, how little you use to detail a car. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and dab this down here, here, grab some of that, dab it down here, and I'm actually going to grab this edge and stick that right in here. And this is what I'm talking about. This area right here with the free spinning tool would be very hard. So let me go ahead and show you how I buff this out. I'm running this right next to this trim over the pinstripe. Okay, it's a polishing pad and a fine cut polish. It's not going to hurt the pinstripe. What it is going to do is going to remove all those water spots that is in the paint next to the pinstripe. So then after I buff out this section, and I do the top of the hood after I reclose the hood, now I'm going to come and get this area. I'm going to go into this area right here, and again, this is where a free spinning tool would just completely bog out. Even if you used a smaller pad on a free spinning tool, you'd really be hard pressed to maintain pad rotation and pad oscillation. And thus you couldn't get the swirls and scratches out, or in this case water spots. And then up here. Then I run it over the trim, because that'll brighten this up too. Like that. And a lot of times you can actually see a gray come off. That's the tarnish, okay? So you know you've brightened it. You've removed something that was dulling it. Okay, clean microfiber towel.
The one thing we didn't get out.
You know, it was on my to-do list before you got here. Get the towels out. Luckily for me, I got a lot of towels. So, Yancey, kind of the reason I wanted to point this out was just because, you know, like one of the things I like to do is when I share stuff is, you know, a lot of people have never worked on a car like this. I mean, it's a really cool car. And if you're a professional detailer, or if you're starting out, or if you're a car enthusiast and you buy one of these things, there's just a couple tips on how to approach buffing out all these curves. And one of those technique tips is to use a gear-driven orbital polisher instead of a free spinning polisher, so you don't waste any time pad stalling. And then, and I'll show you the other thing I always do. While the hood's open, get in here, because now you can get right into this panel of the fender, because otherwise this would be in the way, and you actually couldn't really get all the way in there. So kind of like that. Then once you get that section done, you could of course either continue buffing out the fender or close the hood and finish out the fender. And same thing, get all the way down here. And again, hit all the bright work. And I even hit the headlights. You know, when detailing cars, one of the big picture idea is to create bling, make the whole thing shiny, polish the glass, polish the trim, polish the paint. And then when you stand back, the whole thing just will have a blinding shine because everything's had a pad spinning against it with some sort of hopefully great abrasive technology. Make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
So anyway, that's how I tackled this car. Same kind of thing in the back. I opened up the hood, or opened up the trunk lid, propped it up, and that just allowed me to work easier, but also get around the curves of the fenders. So these cars are very curvy. So there's a couple techniques that will help you open everything up, and then use a gear-driven tool.
All right.
Okay, and now we're going to talk about, yes. Oh, okay, so now that I've shared a couple of tips and techniques on how to approach these curvy coupes like this, I still need to polish out this half of the hood before I put the coating on. So I'm going to polish this out, and then this will just take a second here, and then I will explain one of the benefits to NSP primers. Okay, so let me polish this out real quick. Okay, so I'm doing this whole hood here, and those 3 pea-sized drops have completely given me a complete film of abrasive technology. So I got lubrications, and I got the microspheres, and the foam pad oscillating. Everything's working for me to remove the water spots. Then it's just a matter of making uniform, overlapping section passes. I'm probably applying about 10 pounds of pressure here initially, because what I want to do is I want to cut the paint. I want to abrade it, so I want to cut it, and that levels it, and what it does is visually removes the water spots. So I'm leveling the paint. Okay, so I've made 2 solid passes there, pushing fairly hard. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to use that term I like called shmoo.
Shmoo.
Because I did that kind of in this section, and that section. Now I'm going to shmoo the whole thing over with 2 or 3 just nice, softer passes.
So about half the pressure that you're using before, or less?
1 second. That was 1. This is 2. So this would be a total of 4 solid passes over this section. I'll do one more. Okay, now just light pressure. Light pressure. You know, I always tell people polishing paint is an art form. It is not a grinding process. Okay? We add the human elements of care and passion. In fact, I was just speaking to a guy on the phone about working on his brand new BMW. And that's one of the things I explained to him. I says, it's not just taking your car, washing it and polishing it and coating it. You know, I have to look at what I'm doing. I have to focus on the task, and I put a part of myself into your car so I don't make a mistake on your brand new car's paint job. And that costs money. You know, it's not cheap. And the other option is find someone that doesn't care and looks at it as a mechanical process and just slams out his work, and you get what you pay for. It won't look good, it won't last long.
Was that saying quality work isn't cheap and cheap work isn't quality?
Okay, so there I just wiped it off. You can see how easy that was to wipe off. Very, very easy. And we have basically a flawless orange clear coat finish. Now, the cool thing about the Dr. Beasley's NSP primers, so 45, 95, 150, and even the Z1, is after using them, because there's nothing in them that's organic. They're completely inorganic or synthetic, if you like to think of it that way. We don't have to use a panel wipe. We can go right to the coating. There will be no issues with bonding with the coating of the paint because we use the NSP micro or nanogel technology. And that's just a benefit. So less towels, less products, plus on softer paints, all you seasoned professionals, you'll know what I'm talking about when I tell you that if you're working on softer paint and you go to use a panel wipe, you run a really good risk of marring the paint. And marring is the kind, gentle word for the word scratching. So there's a distinct benefit to the NSP primers. And we call them primers instead of compounds and polishes because they prime the paint for the coating. They're actually laying down a foundation of ceramic that the next application is going to bond on and build on. Okay, so this is the paint coating builder. So this is a two-part system. And normally what I like to do is put a mist onto the finish, but I also like to kind of dampen my pad. And there's a reason for that. If I take a dry pad and try to spread something wet down, the dryness absorbs the wetness and it doesn't spread very well. So you always want to dampen whatever applicator you're using first, just so you don't fight yourself.
And wouldn't it soften the fibers?
Oh, sure. Anytime you get something wet, it gets softened. What happens to you when you sit in a hot tub for a couple hours, Yancy?
I turn into a raisin.
A soft raisin. Okay, so then you apply this just using your basic crosshatch pattern. And one of the cool things about this, and anybody that's used this can back me up on this, is just after initial application, I can really feel the paint become slippery. Okay, very silky feeling.
So it's not a rubbery feel?
No, it's very silky.
I know whenever I'm talking coatings to people, they always, does it make it rubbery or does it make slick?
Okay, there we go. So there's 3 basic section passes, and you want to wait about 2 to 3 minutes. Now, the Nano Pro kit comes with one of these microfiber applicators. They're called coating savers, made by Autofiber.
Just hold it right there so I can zoom
in.
And
one of the things I do is I train people in our classes, because right now we're getting the gray and red ones. That could change, but I use the gray for the paint coating builder and the red for the actual coating. So red, stop sign, emergency, more important. So this is the more important color. So that way I color code it so I don't mix up which coating's going on which side. Now, of course, you could buy extra applicator pads and avoid the whole problem, but for a lot of people, you can use the same applicator to do the 2-part process. Just make sure you have a method in your brain to remember which product you're putting on which side, because if the products are clear, you're not going to be able to tell just by looking at the applicator pad.
look at you using that gray matter again.
Okay, so then you wait 2 or 3 minutes. You just want to come back and use a clean microfiber towel. And I'll just cover this. One of the things that's so important is always to look at your towels and feel them with your hands. You want to make sure that they're not contaminated. Yancy, you remember my old saying? I've been coating this for just absolute eons. It goes like this. I'm going to walk over here and grab my specialty tool. Okay, it takes hours to buff out a car. It takes seconds to put a scratch in. because your towel was contaminated. So I keep tweezers around, and I don't see nothing here because I keep my towels clean. But if I felt something, I could come down here and pick it out. So always keep a pair of tweezers in your garage or in your mobile detail van. Okay, so once it passes your inspection, visual and tactical, then you can fold it and go ahead and we'll wipe this paint coating builder off. And what this has done is already amped up the clarity of the clear coat, which is important because the clear coat is the window to the base coat. And it's made it very glossy, very slick. And it's laid down a foundation that the next application, the next product can actually bond to. My partner at Dr. Beasley's, Chris Racana, he likes to use the Velcro analogy, which works pretty good. So Velcro is basically hook and loop. So imagine the paint coating builder is the hook. I just laid that down, and now I'm going to take and apply the loop. And you know how strong that is? I mean, listen. You hear that?
So I'm watching you struggle with it.
It's that kind of stronger attachment is the idea behind this two-part system. Okay, so now that we're ready to apply that, let me move everything over here. Okay, so the next thing to do, could you do me a favor? Over there on that table is my pipettes. The little plastic things. Okay, thank you. Okay, the kit comes with two of these little pipettes, like an eyedropper. And what you're going to do is you're going to stick this in here, draw up or wick up some product, and then apply this right onto the applicator pad. And again, because this is the first time I've used this pad, it's very, very dry. So I'm going to put some extra product on here just so I have a dampened applicator pad. Now, one of the unique characteristics about this coating is there's no solvents in it. It's 100% solids. And for that reason, I'm going to just do a traditional X pattern, two of them here. And the reason for that is then as I start to apply this, as I come into that initial application, I pick up some more of the coating to spread it around versus just putting the applicator down and start spreading it. But because it's high solids, no solvents, it's a very thick resinous product. And it applies, one of the technique tips I would share is you want to slow your hand motion down. If you try to go fast, your applicator is just going to want to roll over on you. So this is a case where, remember that old saying, Yancey, to go faster, slow down? Or slow down
to speed up.
Slow down to speed up. Okay, so then this is, again, just your basic crosshatch pattern. And just like most coatings on the market, it's a good idea to do this 4 times. And the reason or the magic behind doing 4 overlapping passes is just to ensure 100% coverage over the entire surface. So there's 2. And then for this coating, the flash time is about 30 seconds to a minute. There's 3. And another technique tip if you're going to use these small block style applicator pads is actually to push it in the direction of the length of the block instead of like this. I'm not sure how to explain that. Just because it's less likely to want to roll on you because of the length of it. Okay, so there's 4 uniform applications. And in between, when you're not using this, it's a good idea to always seal the bottle in case you tip it over. You don't want your coating spilling all over your work cart or your worksbench. Okay, then after about 30 seconds to a minute, it's time to wipe off. Now, this is a sticky coating, so technique is everything. First of all, you want to use clean, uncontaminated, short pile microfiber towels. This is the towel we sell on Dr. Beasley's. I used to not really like rectangular shaped towels, but since I've been using these, I've actually come to like them just because I got a little bit more surface area to work with when you fold it 4 ways. And of course, just more towel, more bang for the buck. Think it's been a minute?
Yeah, it's been more closer to like 30 seconds.
Okay, so then what I'm going to do, and I don't know if you can get this, but can you get in on my hand?
No.
Okay, I'm going to put that towel down flat, and look, I'm going to scrunch that up between my fingers. See that?
Okay.
I'm not going to just hold it flat. I'm actually going to scrunch. And then gentle, slow, overlapping circular motions. And if you just use this simple technique, it'll make wiping this high solids coating off really easy. Okay, that's one time, and just to visually look at this, I've got 95% of the coating off. Flip to the other side, scrunch it up, come back and do a final wipe on it. And this is one of those coatings where it is vital that you do not leave any high spots. If you do not remove all the coating, you're going to have to come back and compound this coating off. I'll guarantee it. So, if you're going to install coatings, you need to have a great handheld stroke finder light. This is the one from Lake Country Power Tools. And just, a lot of people do this. Don't be that person. Hold it about 1.5 feet up, okay? Let it spread some of that light out. And come back and just inspect your work. And make sure that you're not leaving any excess product behind. And if you find anything, any residue, any smears, any high spots, like there was one just right up here by the trim I didn't wipe enough, then come back and also make sure you get all your edges. You can oftentimes have coating kind of piled up in the edges, the body seams of a car between panels. And that is it. Then you want to let that cure for about 3 days, 72 hours. And that's how you use the Dr. Beasley's Nano-Resin Pro ceramic coating. And a couple of features about this, in case you want to know, is this is a self-healing coating. Okay, the product itself is made using elastomer ceramic resins, and they absorb scratches and self-level with time and exposure to sun. Like take the car and park it outside on a sunny day.
So basically heat.
Basically heat, yeah. You want heat, it'll kind of reflow it. So kind of a cool feature. Most people that own cars, they're not as meticulous as others. They don't inspect their towels or their wash mitts. And so it's easy to get light micromarring just from normal everyday wear and tear. And so if you park this outside on a hot sunny day, a lot of the shallow micromarring will actually disappear. So self-healing coating. This is also a super hydrophobic coating. This is designed to have a low angle contact, which means even at a low angle, water's just going to want to run off and take the dirt with it, and also reduce any water spot problems. So there's some really cool features about this coating, and then it's stated to last up to 25 years with proper care. So, proper care means gentle washing. Yancey, you and me together, I've probably shared more articles and videos on how to carefully wash a ceramic coated car. And in my opinion, that starts out with instead of using a wash mitt, I show people to dunk about 12 clean inspected towels into your wash bucket, use one on the roof, have a clean bucket for that to go into, because you're done. You're washing one panel with one towel. One for the hood, towel goes in the bucket. One for the fender, towel goes in the bucket. But by always switching to a clean, dry towel, you reduce the potential to mar the paint with dirt removed from one panel onto your wash mitt, then rubbed over another panel. So that's my best tip for taking care of a ceramic coated car is use the multiple towel method. And of course, use a quality car wash like the Dr. Beasley Ceramic Pro Wash.
I agree with that.
Ceramic body wash. Yeah.
Agree with that. Were you
And
gonna move
that's
over?
it. What I have that over there for is just to kind of show everything I use to take this car
Why
from
don't
0 to
you
0.
work your way over there?
Sure. And it's kind of like I mentioned before, a lot of people, they know in order to coat a car, they got to buy a coating, but it doesn't start there. So in this case, I did a waterless wash, and for this I used the Dr. Beasley's Prep Wash. A little bit about Dr. Beasley's prep wash. Jim Lefebvre, the head chemist, owner, founder of Dr. Beasley's, he actually created this product after attending one of my 3-day classes and watching me use a glass cleaner to wash a car. And what I did is I poured the glass cleaner into about 3 gallons of water and used that to do a waterless wash. And you're thinking, well, why would you do that, Mike? Well, because when I'm doing a waterless prep wash, like I did on this, the whole goal is to get the car clean. And so the problem I have with all these waterless washes on the market is, in most cases, they contain other ingredients to make it glossy, make it shiny, add ceramic, add wax. I want to do that. I just want to get it clean. So I couldn't find a waterless wash that just offered pure cleaning, so I just used glass cleaner. I figure if a glass cleaner will pull smoker's film off glass, or vinyl fog off glass, normal road dirt, road grime off glass, then it'll clean the body. And since I'm going to buff it out, I wasn't too worried about being careful. What I'm worried about is getting it really clean before I start the clean process. So Jim watched in horror as I did that, and he went back and formulated this. So he took all the ideas I had into making something do nothing but clean paint, leave nothing behind, just get it clean and do it safely. So that's how I started this process.
You just held up Bead Hero.
What's that now?
You were talking about Bead Hero or the
prep wash?
Yeah, you held up Bead Hero.
I got the wrong product over here. Sorry about that. This comes in a 12-ounce bottle like this, but also comes in gallons. And at Dr. Beasley's, they provide pour-off spray bottles that you can mark and actually have hazard identification sections on the back to keep you OSHA compliant. So then after that, by the way, I also use this on the wheels and tires. Look how nice those wheels and tires look.
No, they're nice.
So I hand cleaned those with the prep wash. And then in the NSP primer line, we got the 150, the 95, and the 45. These also come in 32-ounce bags, and we offer pour-off bottles for those. But I did my test spot on the trunk lid, and again, you can watch that video on the Dr. Beasley's Instagram page, and you can see the water spots that I took out. This is after washing the car. Those spots were in the coating, in the paint. But I didn't want to do anything aggressive, so I just did a test spot with the NSP 95 and a light foam cutting pad. It's the blue one we sell on the Dr. Beasley website on a Beast. And it completely obliterated them. So for all the areas with the water spots, I hit it with the 95, then I come back and repolish the entire car with the 45 and a foam polishing pad like you saw me using up on the hood. And that got the car to where it was perfect and ready to coat. And then the next step was actually the paint coating builder. And then the next step after that is the Nano-Resin. And to maintain this, I'm going to show the owner Bead Hero. In fact, I'm going to give him this bottle to take care of it, and I'm going to send him the link where he can buy that in a gallon and get the pour-off bottle to maintain this, because once I do all the hard work, his job is real easy. All he has to do is wash this car once in a while, and he does wash this, and then use this spray-on, wipe-off product. And me and Yancey just shot a video. Remember last weekend we shot this video on Bead Hero. And wait till this video comes out. It's amazing when you see what this will do to a car that's had nothing done to it for years. Anyway, that's kind of the process.
All right, now we have that little back on the back end. Are you planning on doing something back there?
Well, we can try this. We can show the self-healing characteristics. It's a hard demo to do. I've already done it on the trunk lid once, so my confidence is high. The thing about it is look, I have confidence that it works and I can show it, but it is a hard demo to do. And the hardest part is actually there's just so many trolls out there that if you don't get 100% perfect, then they try to shoot you down. And but let's go ahead and let's try. Let me get the heat gun out. I think it's in the trunk here.
Where are you going to do it at?
I'm going to be right here. Okay, it's interesting is I didn't have one of these, but the owner does. Okay, so here's the temperature, what do they call this, infrared temperature gun. So the temperature right now is 74 degrees, which kind of mimics the temperature in here. Now, this is just a clean sandwich baggie, and all I'm going to do is just try to put in some very light marring.
Basically, if you're using a bad microfiber.
Yeah, if you were using a dirty microfiber towel, then I need a swirl finder light. Let me grab one over here. Okay.
Here, I'm going to be on this side of you.
Okay.
All right, we got some light, very light.
Very light marring. Well, if I do it too heavy, it won't. I'll take it out, but it just won't look good on video. Okay, so then the next thing is this just an inexpensive heat gun. And I'm going to put this on the high setting.
Yeah, I need the...
Oh, you need the gun. Okay, and my extension cord stopped. Okay.
I was probably standing on it.
Okay, right there. Put that light on there. Come. Okay, so now, and this is kind of the scary part because you see, this isn't my car, and I'm pointing a heat gun on the highest setting, and we'll run this. How high did we go the first time? 180?
Yeah, 180. We're at
180 degrees. And paint, a black paint out in the sun can actually, I think, get over 200 degrees. So
yeah.
We're not doing anything.
160.
We're not doing anything that naturally.
165, 171, 175, 178. All right, we're at 180.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and move your thing out. And go that way. There you go. And as you can see,
the scratches are gone.
Scratches are gone.
Anyway,
hopefully that turned out for you guys.
Hey, I don't mind. This is a hard demo to do. We're going to redo this in the future when we got a black car here. Orange doesn't really show things the best, but I just wanted to demonstrate that I have the confidence to put scratches in a 1940 Ford and then heat them up because this coating does offer a self-healing effect.
All right. You ready for some questions?
Oh, sure.
All right. Stand right there. Okay.
Of course, after you leave here, I got to finish coating the rest of the car. The only thing I've done so far is polishing, and of course the trunk lid and that side of the hood. So the rest is, but I love working on classics like this. It's actually a street rod. I wouldn't call it a classic. It's a street rod.
Okay, I will be your voice from the nether over here, and as you can see, Mike's little cheat sheet up there. Who said teleprompters die? All right, so let's go back over into the comments, and I'm going to go back into the nether. Of course, Humberto, first from Puerto Rico, is always first. He's ready to roll. We have my guy Kirby coming in, afternoon from sunny Houston. Then we have, oh, I know who this is. Perfect Shine of Jax. I wonder who that is. Ready to see Mike work his magic. Then Kirby is coming in. Running boards are rubber covered. Yeah, those are rubber covered, are they not? And
they're meticulously clean. When I wash this, I didn't wash this time, but last time I washed this, I just use a Wheel Woolies brush, just a quality car wash soap, then go in with the towel and just wipe it dry, no dressing. And they have a nice matte finish to them. Okay.
Then we got Grant coming here. Mike and Yancey are like bourbon and steak, good for everyone. I love it. Kyle coming in. Hello, everyone, or hey, everyone. We have Tom. Thank you for these online classes. You're very welcome. Okay, first question for you. We got Mark coming in here. Mike, what paint protection would you recommend for a classic show car garage queen, the 34 Ford 3-window black, when appearance is more important than durability?
If you want to, if it doesn't need any swirl removal, I would hit it with the NSP 45 because it's a super easy product to use, and then just hit it with Bead Hero. It makes the paint super slippery. It's quick, fast, and easy to use. Doesn't cost a lot of money. Keeps it show ready all the time. If you do have more swirls and scratches, then you're going to have to do a little bit more paint correction. But just like you saw me use on the hood of this thing, I mean, this is a show car. You will go to car shows around Stuart and see this thing on display out in full sun. And when I did my initial test spot on here, I went ahead and pulled the car out into the sun, and just to make sure I use a swirl finder light and the sun, just to make sure that orange, the trunk lid looked flawless, and it did. But that's the NSP 45. It's a really nice product. And again, less is more, just a few pea-sized or nickel-sized drops. You don't want to be globbing this stuff on.
Okay, we got Kirby coming in here. He has a question. Yancey, any thought on thick the clear is on that car?
Oh, no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea.
No idea. The owner, a good friend of mine, David, by the way, he ran all the power in this shop for us. We got more power than any shop I've ever been in for our classes. He had this thing painted, I'm going to guess, like 20 years ago. And this will be the third time I've detailed this car over the years. The first time was the hardest because it was in really bad shape. The second time wasn't too bad, and this time, except for the water spots, is pretty easy because the owner it's a garage kept car. But how much paint's on there, who knows? And I've always used very safe products, so I'm not taking a lot off. But I'm also cognitive as I'm buffing the car not to do stupid things like buff for a long time in one place. Last thing I want to see is the clear coat disappear.
You don't want to see orange on your pad?
No, I don't want to see orange paint on my buffing pad.
Okay. Oh, hey, here's a question. Actually, you can talk about this a little bit. I know Mike will be there, but is Yancey going to be at MTE? I may be, but maybe not in the way that you think. I'm still debating on it, but yeah, stay tuned on that one. Back to you, Mike, about MTE and all your activities.
Yes, MTE. I'm teaching a class on Wednesday this year, MTE Mobile Tech Expo. And you can get more information on mobiletechexpo.com, and I think there's a link on the top that says Learn, and then look for the section that says, I think it says Detailing 101. So this is something new. They've invited, I think, 4 different presenters, I'm one of them, to teach a class with the theme of Detailing 101. So if you're new to detailing or if you're an enthusiast, get there Wednesday. My class starts at 1 p.m. and goes to 2:45 p.m., so it's almost 2 hours long. And I got to tell you, I just recently had a 3-day class here, and I had someone take pictures of every process we did on the second day, because that includes the extreme prep wash. So it's going to cover everything we're going to do in a class. And that's going to be used in my PowerPoint presentation, because I can't bring a car in and teach you how to detail a car with the car. So I'm going to show you with pictures, but these are real world pictures from a real class, from what we really teach in our classes, how to take a car from 0 to hero, every single step. That's 1 p.m. to 2:45 p.m. at Mobile Tech Expo. So I hope to see you there. It's going to be a fun class. And then I got 3 classes on Thursday. I have a class on NSP technology, the benefits. If you're using anything else, you're kind of using old technology, old school stuff. I have a class on glass polishing. Can you show the window on that thing at all? Can you zoom in on that? I just polished out the windshield on this 1964 Amphicar, but I'm going to do a
Stay
class
tuned for the video. It's coming.
Yeah, I'm going to do a class on polishing glass. So topical polishing, also taking wiper marks and scratches and etchings out of glass. And then I'm going to teach a class that I haven't taught for a few years, but I've probably, I don't want to brag, but I've probably taught more classes at Mobile Tech Expo than anybody else, mostly because for about 8 years I taught 8 classes a year, where most people get like 1 or 2. So I've taught a lot of classes there, but one of the most popular classes I taught there was called How to Become the Recognized Expert in Your Hometown. And what this class is about, it's going to teach you how I went from buffing out Hondas and Toyotas to buffing out stuff like this, and how I did it. What a lot of guys do is they go to a car show and hand out their business card, which is, cold calling. And you're never going to get a guy that owns a car like this that doesn't know you from Adam. He's not going to let you touch the car. So I show you how to get to these cars in that class. And the most rewarding thing about that class is the next year, and the next year, when I go back to Mobile Tech Expo, and people come up to me and say, I took that class, I implemented the things you taught, and boom, I'm working on cool cars all the time. So take that class. It's called How to Become the Recognized Expert in Your Hometown.
All right. We have another question coming in here from Tom. Is what if your paint is in great shape? Decontaminate, and is a primer needed?
In my professional opinion, I would not put a coating on any kind of paint, any kind of car, unless I washed it, inspected it to see if it needed to be clayed. If it needed to be clayed, clay it, and then at least 1 paint polishing step. And the reason why is because even if it looks great, look, I got a brand new BMW coming my way. It's got no miles on it. It's getting unloaded next week in West Palm Beach and coming right here. And I'm going to machine polish the paint, but you got to make sure you're down to pure base urethane, pure base paint, and nothing can be on there. Nobody's spray detailer, nobody's Carnubo car wash with built-in wax. You got to make sure everything's off there. Plus, to be honest with you, nothing looks as good as freshly polished paint. Even this thing, when it got here, it looked good. Even with water spots, it looked good. If you get up really close, you could see them and you go, oh, look, there's water spots. But if you stood back from 10 feet, it looked good. But now when you look at it, it just glistens. It's oozing, it's dripping in shine because I machine polished it. And you can't get these kind of results by hand. It just ain't going to work. So if you don't own a polisher, come to one of my classes. I'll show you how to use one.
All right, we have Kirby. Paint Hero is your friend.
Yeah.
We have Josh coming in. Hi, Mike. Hi, Yancy. Hello, Josh. Mike, we have Kirby. Mike Yancey, was this car yellow a few years ago or a different car?
No, this car's always been orange. I forget what the front license plate says. What's this?
Oh, that might have been when we were doing your class and we had the yellow one and this one in.
When we did the class with this one, we had a black one. We had the Rum Runner, 1944 Rum Runner, owned by a friend of mine named Richard. So the people that took that class, actually, in that class, I think I brought in 13 cars for a 3-day class. I bring in more cars than anybody. I bring in cool stuff for you to train on. You got to get to one of my classes if you want to have a lot of fun and learn a lot. But in that particular class, sometimes I just have the ability to bring in matching cars. I had a black 1944 coupe and this orange 1944 coupe. I think in that class I had 257 Chevy Bel Airs, 2 Corvettes. So sometimes it kind of works out like that, sometimes it doesn't. And the reason I bring in 2 cars and sometimes 3 cars is because my classes are all hands-on. There's no PowerPoint, there's no chairs, there's no sitting. There's actually no breaks. There's a lunch break, but there's no like, it's 10 o'clock. I mean, if you got to take a cigarette break, go do it, but there ain't no formal break. And what I want to do is I want to keep people busy. I find people that are interested in detailing, they learn better by doing than sitting in a chair. They learn better, they remember better, they retain more by doing a thing than looking at a picture on the wall. So I bring in big cars, cool cars, and let people just work on them. And that's the technique I like to use to train people.
I got you. All right, now we have just a couple more coming in. Jeff Ness. Hey, Mike, was in your boat class in 2018 at AG, which is AutoGeek. Dr. Beasley's has 3 nanoskin resin kits priced at $75, $150, and $500. Is the main difference the amount of solids which will make the coating last longer?
Wow, that's a really good question for Jim. Yeah.
Way to pawn that one off.
No, I know that they are chemically different, but the primary difference between this one, which is the $500 a 25-year coating, is this is all solids. There's no solvent. And if you've ever installed a coating, you would notice it right away because, I mean, it's like applying honey. It's very thick. That's why the technique I showed was to try to move your hands slow. Don't go faster. This is just going to curl under you. By the way, this is from doing the trunk lid. It is about as crunchy, as hard as it can get. But it's, each one is priced according to the formula itself and just the benefits and features.
Okay, we got Jay coming in here as they're flying in right now. Just got some Bead Hero in a mystery box. I'm so excited to try it out. Make sure you post your pictures up to their socials so that way they can see what you're working on.
With the Bead Hero, my tip is the one that you and me always use, the 2-towel technique or the 1-towel. 1-towel is where is the microfiber towel? Let me show you. Here's a microfiber towel. I kind of shared this on the hood up there. When you're starting out applying Bead Hero, you're going to start out with a clean, dry microfiber towel. So here's what you want to do, and I hate to waste product, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. Put this on spray. There's usually these things have 2 settings. They got spray and stream. Always put on spray so you're atomizing it. Then take and atomize it, a couple of mist onto a towel. So this is the side you're going to use. It's now dampened with product. If you mist this onto the hood of your car and bring down the dry side, what happens is instead of spraying the product, you just dry it off. So start out with the dampened side, then add a mist of product. Take and spread that around like half a quarter of the hood or half the hood. Then flip to the dry side and polish it off. Okay, that's the technique you want to use. The other option would be to start with one side dampened and then just have a dedicated drying towel. Either way,
easiest way.
Yeah, it's actually the easiest and most effective way. What happens when you start using one towel is it tends to get unfolded. You got to keep refolding it, and you got to remember which side is the damp side.
All that good stuff.
But I'm lazy. I just like using the 1-towel method.
Then
Bead Hero is a great product.
I know when I did it, let me come over here because I have that set up for a different angle in a second. When I use the 2-towel, I find that by halfway through the car, I'm only using maybe 1 or 2 spritz because the towel's already loaded up. So actually, in my mind's eye, I'm actually using less product than I would be if I was squirting it on every panel going through. That's my mind's eye
Yep.
and stuff. So
And I would caution against using
2 cents worth.
you trying to tackle too big an area at one time. You like half of a hood is good, a fender is good. Don't try to do like a fender and door. That product will start to dry, it becomes hard to wipe off. So you want to only spray where you're going to be actually working the product.
Okay. All right. Well, that I think is going to do it for us. And let's switch it back over to this camera. But Mike, I mean, we're over here now.
Okay.
This is amazing. Just tell Dave I'm going to take it, and I'll leave him an IOU.
Okay, I'll tell him that. I don't think he'll go for it.
I don't think he will.
He's actually said if I ever want to borrow it, I can.
Oh, really?
I don't want to because,
He's a really great guy.
Well,
He's a really
great guy. What's that, Murphy's Law? If it
Yeah,
can go
if
wrong,
it will. Yeah, exactly.
I don't have to go, hey, we need to get a fender for your car and some fresh paint. Some dumbass would probably hit us. So, but while you're here, look at the wheels and tires. That is clean with prep wash, and I coated it with Bead Hero.
There you
They're
go.
crisp looking. They look good. And when he goes to wash it, that's going to wash and rinse real quick and easy.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Next week, he's going to be solo.
Solo.
I will not be our next week. He will be our next week. I don't know what his topic is, so just stay tuned to the socials unless you know it off the top of your head.
I have no idea.
Okay, so stay tuned to the socials.
I've got an interesting car coming in that we're going to be doing some dry sanding on.
Oh, okay.
It's a 2020 Hertz Rent-A-Car Camaro Z1. So they only made 200 of these. A friend of mine just bought one, and the rear driver's side fender and the passenger side door have been repainted horribly. And he wants to know if he was told if you were to sand this, you could make the bodywork that's showing through the paint disappear. And I said they're probably right.
Depends on
Now
how
you
much
gotta-
paint's on top. Yeah.
You got to find someone that knows what they're doing. So I think he's going to bring it down here and let us tackle it. But I wanted you to be here to run the camera because I can't do both at the same time. So I'll probably pick a more simple topic. I would like to just remind everybody that I have a one-day class. So if you live locally here in Florida and you want to take a paint correction class, but maybe the 3-day class intimidates you, Saturday, January 20th, there's going to be a one-day class. It's going to cover paint correction, wool pads on rotary polishers, orbital polishers, ceramic coatings, prep wash. Everything I teach in my big 3-day class is condensed into one really fast-paced class. We'll start at 7:30. It won't get over till we have every topic done for that day, but that's Saturday, January 20th.
So with that being said, Red Bull is required for that class. You'll need like 3 or 4, maybe 16. But no, if you haven't been to any of his classes, they are amazing. You definitely get your learn on, that is for sure. And the more questions you ask, the more you learn. And believe me, he's an open book. He likes telling everybody how to do things, so it's awesome.
I have what they call empathy. I wish I had a more sexy word for it, but I've been in other people's shoes when you're first starting out and you don't know what to do. And I know nowadays there's a zillion opinions out there, so I try to just refine it down and show you what works and how to do it fast while keeping the results pro quality.
Exactly.
Because I like to say I want to get in and
get out. Under promise, over deliver. All right, so with that being said, we are out of here. We're about right on the hour mark. We're keeping these kind of short and sweet, 30 minutes text, 30-minute questions. So hopefully that's been working out with you guys. And like always, if you do have any ideas for any of our topics that you would like to see Mike discuss, post them in the comments down below. We always read them. I know everybody over at Dr. Beasley reads them. I read them, and he tries to read them.
Also, you can go watch all of our past live by going to the Dr. Beasley's YouTube channel and click on that text link that says live. Okay, that'll take you right to all the live classes because we've covered some amazing topics so far.
Yeah, Victor, you should make a playlist. That way you can embed it on the website.
Okay, there you go.
Get Victor to do that. Victor, if you're listening, make a playlist.
He probably
put it on the
has.
website.
I just don't know about it.
Okay, well, Victor's always ahead of you. So with that being said, I'm going to sit back and admire the gloss that's on this while you still finish and put more of a gloss.
I'm going to change in the work clothes and put the coating on.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Say bye, Mike.
Bye.
That's all you get is bye.
Bye. 2 hands.